What's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for joining this extra special collaboration episode between Science in the City and your homeboys at Curiosity Theory. We are having some fantastic folks on. Maybe we can have everybody introduce themselves starting from left to right.
Dr. Dakota Tyler, a.k.a. Dr. Starkid, science communicator, astrophysicist, physics professor, and co-host of Curiosity Theory.
Hi guys, Kalpanapat at Kalpanapat or Talk Nerdy to Me on TikTok. Space nerd, author, screenwriter, actor, and yeah, I curse in my science videos, so there's that. That's how you know me.
Justin Schaefer, also known as Mr. Fascinate, a science communicator, STEM media producer, and player of piano as well.
Of course.
Denies
There's
that,
an
but-
asterisk there.
Ashley Christine, I am a science communicator, mathematician, sci-fi author, and co-host of Science in the City.
Oh yeah, co-host of Science and the City.
Yeah, she stuck with me.
On this episode, guys, we're going to be talking about some incredibly diverse topics. We're talking about science fiction, artificial intelligence, smut, science communication.
Teen smut, oddly enough.
Teen
Yeah.
smut.
Teen smut got in there. What else came up?
Red pill,
Red pill,
kind
red
of
pill,
dating in LA.
ideology, a little bit
Pill
of
ideology.
Yeah, a
It's a
little
good one. You're going to want to stay tuned.
Yeah.
Right now.
Life in the universe, what that could look like.
yeah.
What else?
We take it there.
Yeah,
we take it
I'll
there,
take it there.
and you're gonna find out right now.
Everybody has something space themed on, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I like your ears, your jacket, which is...
Oh, I do.
It's,
Okay.
it's
I was
the
like, you have the
it's
stuff
the
on?
universe itself imprinted on my.
Wait, what do I have this space themed?
Everybody but you. I'll
Yeah,
say.
everyone but
Spirit.
you.
Everybody but you.
I got a watch. Well, no, it's not really.
Well, time. An integral part of the universe.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
I don't know if that counts.
Yeah,
though.
I don't know if that counts
necessarily
either, because
Fourth
that kind of
dimension.
includes everybody.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's true, that's true.
On the Neo robot thing that we were talking about right beforehand, would you guys buy the Neo robot?
No.
If it was autonomous.
Like if there wasn't a person
Yeah,
in
like
another country.
In India.
Yep. If it was fully
Directing it?
autonomous.
How
on
much
your
does it cost?
Wi-Fi. So not even
It's
connected.
Five-
like 20K a month. 20K one
20K
time.
once or 500 a month.
a month.
Yeah.
For 500 a month,
Yeah.
all household chores,
Slowly.
slowly, but like who cares? If I'm
Yeah.
not there,
Yeah.
500 a month. I mean,
I don't like doing chores.
It's easy.
in perpetuity, especially if it like doesn't malfunction and break down.
But how is that worse than? How's that a better option than like getting
20K.
having like a house cleaner come in or something like
Because
that?
it has to like live with you. I don't want this entity in my house all the time.
An
What if it malfunctions and watches me sleep?
What if
It's
you?
watching.
Brings me a towel.
What if it has? It's like integrated
shower.
with such an efficient LLM that you actually become incredible friends with it, and you prefer it to your
that's a
other
good point.
friends. So,
That would terrify me.
I like how you
Yeah.
say
That would
friends, but
be-
we're all thinking the next level.
oh hey,
I mean, like that's what everybody.
A
bed
especially
companion.
I
skin
didn't necessarily
texture,
want to take it to a sexual place, which is what it sounds like you're going
because that's what everybody does.
with those robots. Does that turn you on?
None of you were going to think about it in the next
Well,
5
It's
minutes.
definitely is. Yeah. you
Hey,
definitely think about it.
here at Curiosity Theory, we accept all forms of kink and this and
we
that.
don't
And the
kink
You know
other.
what?
It's like, hey,
With Science in the City, we don't approve of human robot.
Yeah, that's
love,
true. We thought it
okay?
was
Really?
weird.
We don't
Whoa,
approve
That's
of
an
it.
interesting stance.
Thought it
I
that's a
was
like
bit
that.
weird.
bigoted. No,
I'm old.
What's the impetus behind that?
No, I just kind of made that up just for fun. But
Oh,
like,
okay.
no, I think it's
we're
it's,
liars here at Curiosity Theory.
It's a little dangerous
No,
though.
it's like that woman who married the roller coaster.
What?
Like I don't know if
heard
many
of that.
people are actually going to fall for it.
Married
know,
a
I-
roller coaster.
Yeah,
Is
there's
this in New Hampshire?
I wish. No, we don't have roller coasters. No, there's like this mental condition where you can fall in love with inanimate objects. And this woman married a roller coaster. There's another one who's into the Eiffel Tower. They had behind the scenes.
Is
Don't
she
watch
legally
those.
married to the
Whoa.
roller coaster?
I mean,
Yeah, like was there a ceremony?
And
there
the
was a
roller coaster
ceremony,
said
but-
yes?
But yeah, how did
I
it
mean,
consent?
oh, they broke up or something, and she moved onto a train, or
Holy crap!
It's a
The
thing.
roller
It's a
coaster
thing.
to train pipeline.
There's a
How
few
many
ways
times have we
to-
seen
Yeah,
that?
there's a few ways you could take that as well. Yeah.
So imagine if they could grow human skin on something like that. I mean, how many people would really go
On
for
a roller
it?
coaster or a robot?
But just like a machine. Yeah, like how many people would
On a Neo robot.
Well,
Like,
have y'all
yeah,
seen
this-
Companion, the movie?
I
know
saw
what I'm
her.
Was that the one with Megan Fox?
No. No,
Okay.
it wasn't. It was the guy, the
Companion.
skinny, tall dude from The Boys, Huey.
Yeah.
And
yes. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
forget the other actor, but basically it was an android that looked exactly human, and you know you could pull out your little slider and you could make them smarter or change the eye color or whatever. And it was his girlfriend. And then he like adjusted they jailbroke it and then got her to like kill this other person so they could try to get the money. And then she kind of like broke free. Not spoiler alert. It's a great movie though.
Okay.
Oh,
And
well, now we know
yeah,
that.
it's like it looks like a human. Like it looks exactly like a human. And you know, objectively, it seems like that's how you would find the optimal relationship for you specifically, right? Because there's no compromises that you have to make.
No.
With
I
that,
like how you put it on that.
which is a part of a relationship,
yeah.
right? Is that
It's
compromises.
modern day Pygmalion. Just you guys know that Greek mythology story?
No.
He like made a perfect woman out of clay, but she has no personality because it's just made directly for his needs. But that's kind of what's happening, right? If you can fix a robot to what you need, like Black Mirror. Yeah, you know, okay, this makes me think. I remember when Joker came out in 2019. I love that movie, but like the media and everyone was worried that what the movie represented was actually going to result in a lot of riots in town, in Brooklyn and all over the country.
Why? I don't remember
Because
that.
of like his
yeah.
character in the film has like a lower class people uprising. And so they were worried that this was going to incite the same thing in real life. And the funny thing is the meme was like the worst thing that came out of this movie was that everybody was just dancing on those steps.
The steps in the Bronx, right? Yeah.
So like there's a lot of fear and people are like human robot love in the future, like Japan, everyone's birth rate decline.
Yeah.
And how in a lot of countries humans are connecting more with robots than they are humans. And I think maybe we're just being a little too worried. It probably won't end up being that bad.
You think?
I don't think
I
so.
don't
I
know.
think we tend to get ahead of ourselves and assuming the worst. And like Joker, it doesn't end up being that bad. But we'll see. We'll
I
see.
don't know. I think for a certain demographic of person that doesn't maybe like to socialize or maybe hasn't developed the tools to socialize, especially younger people. Like, I mean, Dakota and I have talked a lot about being much more introverted when we were younger.
Yeah.
And then kind of being forced into awkward social situations that made us develop the skill set to actually socialize and like have fulfilling relationships and interactions with other humans. But if you're young and you get exposed to this stuff, I don't know. I'm
You
concerned.
don't have to develop any
You don't
social
have to
skills
do
'cause
any
you
of
have
that.
like these robots or LLMs that you can like have. That can be your group of friends, right? You have a group
parasocial.
chat with a bunch of chat GPTs.
But what if they're the ones helping you have those skills so that you can utilize them in the real world?
Yeah.
It's like
point.
a teaching mechanism.
Yeah, that's true.
I would have preferred that as also an introvert, especially growing up. I would have totally preferred to test it out on something with no repercussions before trying it out on actual human beings.
Sure.
I don't know.
like
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
That's a good point, but I guess the thing for there is, would we ultimately have to even include humans in that at the end? Like,
Yeah,
would the
right.
robot say like, "Oh, I'm getting you ready for humans"? Or we'd be like, "Oh, actually, I'm kind of cool with just talking to you." Chat."
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in an emotional connection, but then when it comes to physical, maybe we can sexualize the Neo doll.
I mean, it's already
perhaps.
happening, you know, like
Yeah, absolutely.
that technology with VR, it already exists. So,
But I wonder if it's as dire as people think it is. It always sounds like, oh, majority of the population is heading this way, but I don't think we're there yet. I could be wrong though, guys.
I think about, it depends, I think, on what level, especially AI, is going to saturate into our environment. Because right now it's not really too involved. Like it's a little bit on our phone, a little bit in some people's cars.
Are you saying AI is not that involved? In our
Well, I mean,
environment?
like it's not as overpowering yet, right? Like right
disagree?
now, none of us feel it, right? It's not happening in this room right now, but I feel like when it becomes a major element of existence, it might be different.
I have a chat GPT in my ear right now. This is
You get
actually
the
why
answer,
I'm
yeah.
interesting.
No, exactly. Like we have no assistance right now.
Yeah.
None, right? We're
just
just raw dogging it. But one day that might be different.
Raw dogging human conversation, which is just talking and has been for like millions of years.
Yeah.
So I'd argue, Ashley, that this is one of the few times where that happens in our day-to-day life. Like for the most part, we're glued to our phones. We're interacting with AI-driven algorithms that curate what we look at, curate how we get to where we go, what food that we want to eat. Like all of these things are embedded in our society
What
already.
about in school right now? Is it like that right now in schools? I don't know.
In a lot of schools, they are actively working on developing and curating their AI policies. There are some
Okay.
schools that are vehemently against AI, but most schools now realize that's not a good idea because the vast majority of people hiring the next generation of students want to hire people with AI literacy. So if schools not preparing for the students for that, then they're not preparing students for the modern workforce.
But most classrooms right now aren't like pull out your phone, pull out your iPad, right?
Yeah,
Like they're still kind of.
But Chromebooks a lot of times.
So I teach. I taught at UCLA for a couple years, and now I'm a physics professor at Pomona. And I think that there are two things that I notice. One is that the essays all suck and sound the same. Not always, but you can tell when it's ChatGPT because, over the past couple years, it's been awful. It's like getting better, but there are these phrases that like people don't say.
Ooh, like what?
So here was a big one. I think we might have talked about this before, but in one of the classes, the super cool class that I taught at UCLA called The Evolution of the Cosmos and Life. And in the first quarter, we go over the start and evolution of the universe. And then in the second quarter, we go over the start and evolution of life on Earth to get to present day.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And the students would have to write these essays. And they were about just sort of transformative discoveries that were made. And one of them was about when did humans first get to the Americas? Traditionally, people have thought that it was somewhere between like 10 to 12,000 years ago. But it seems like there may be evidence that extends back further. And so they're writing these essays about all of the evidence, and they sort of are supposed to take a stance. Like it's a current debate. Was it this amount of time? Was it that amount of time? And a way that you could describe new people going to a new area that nobody says is called peopling, like the peopling of the Americas. I've never heard a human say that before. I got a series of essays that all talked about the peopling of the Americas.
Oh my God.
Only ChatGPT would say that. I know that these students had never heard that before. And so I see that a lot, and it's like, okay.
How do you
so
handle
you're
that?
using, Well, I also don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with using it as like an editor for your work.
Sure. Okay.
But you don't want it to do it for you.
Right.
So you don't yell at the
yeah.
students?
Right. That's what I was picturing.
Oh, you guys are
I
using
kind of
all
want to
this
see
AI.
it.
Nah.
I'm gonna like come into one of his classes.
I think I saw an
know, sit in the back.
AI-generated video of a professor yelling at his students for using AI. And
I
that
think
was
those are
pretty funny.
staged.
That's like
Yeah.
Inception AI video shit happening.
But like
Fascinating.
more importantly, I think something that I notice with the students now is that there's like this lack of follow through in critical application of their brains to their work. Like I'll be teaching a lab and they'll have data that is awful and it's getting them like the wrong acceleration due to gravity. Like you know what it should be. We live on Earth, you kind of know what that number is. If you're getting a number from an experiment that we did that we live on Mars or the moon or something, then something's wrong. And an easy way to do that is like visualize your data. Oh, I have outliers. I have these bad data points that are jacking up my number. And it's like been difficult to get students to be able to sort of apply their critical thinking without everything being handed to them. And I wonder
Jesus.
if that is, because this is a physics class, right? I wonder if that is in part due to an sort of like an overuse of ChatGPT and things being laid out for you and you not really having to think too hard. So I kind of like worry about the future when we have an entire generation of adults that never had to like struggle through thinking about things because
Right.
they're just kind of like going to
Yeah.
this cheating source.
So these are like 19, 20-year-olds?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Undergrad?
freshman, sophomore. Yeah,
Okay.
undergrads.
Because college could cover a huge age range.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So little babies.
I know. Several weeks ago, I was at this event. It was like a Hollywood science meetup type of shit. And then the people that they had speaking were clinical psychologists, specifically focusing on the impact of social media on young brains. And they're literally losing gray matter. So we're at that point
Yikes.
now. Yeah, where they're coming in with less of a brain, literally, than the generations before them.
Doesn't
And
that
this
happen
is
in
probably
pregnancy
more
too?
like alpha. So once they enter college, you'll really see if they even make it into college.
Well, they'll know
Colleges
what the
still
standards.
exist.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
I mean, to compound that effect, I think the obsolescence of college for a lot of people as a viable pathway to a career without debt, it kind of is making less and less sense for people that don't have
Yeah.
traditional, medical careers, traditional science careers. It's like, why do I could just get a certification, go to YouTube University and start applying my skills. And for a lot of people,
Yeah, no
especially in
shit.
LA, I mean, a lot of people in the creative industry, that's how most of us learned how to do this stuff. We didn't
Yeah.
go to like art school or film school necessarily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Did any of us do anything related to art school at all?
in college.
Yeah,
It was
or just
communications. So no.
yeah.
I went
Is
to
that
like a
not
theater
really?
camp once when I was like a kid.
Okay.
Oh.
No, that counts. Yeah, anything like that.
Oh well, I've acted for over 10 years.
But did you ever like do a course or
No,
something on an academic level?
No, I think for
that?
on
Okay.
camera, the best thing you can do if you want to be an on camera actor, not theater, is just to move to LA and take classes
Just
that
ram
aren't
into it. Okay.
necessarily university related. Yeah, this kind of
Okay.
stuff, even with writing, absolutely, because I'm working on my second pilot now, but I've learned how to do it just by doing it.
Sure,
Not to
yeah.
say you should not take writing classes. For sure do. It's a very formulaic process. But ultimately what you're going to learn in these classes is to write, and you're going to have to
Yeah.
write. So with arts, I feel like it's so much more about practice than application.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, experience is always the best teacher, I think.
Exactly.
There's only so much like planning and preparation that you can do.
Right.
You just gotta like get in there.
You just
and
got to get in
start.
there. Throw
Yeah.
yourself. When I grew up dancing, same thing. It's not like I can sit in class and learn theory.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Well, that's why I think science communication is interesting on the social media platforms because we're all winging it. None of us have a guidebook at all. In
Yeah.
10 years, maybe there'll be courses on it in college or high school or something. But, you know, like, so you start a video with a question and then you have the body, which is answering it, then the conclusion. Maybe they'll set it up like that, but we're all just winging it.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know, there's no guidebook.
We're kind of
Yeah.
pioneering this field. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine actually who was a producer for one of the PBS shows I worked on. Shout out to Stephanie. She has a PhD in science communication. So there are like
Oh, so that is a thing.
yeah. So
I didn't know.
there are formal programs that you can go through to get an accreditation in it.
Okay.
But
Is that the program you were in? You were in?
no, I wasn't in a science communication.
Oh, my bad.
No, it was a science education.
Science
Yeah.
education. Gotcha.
But I think that, to your point, Ashley, I think we're in a space now where we kind of have to be so reactive to the times, what kind of media format works, what kind of style of communication works well.
Yeah.
That, like, if we had to spend time waiting to learn through curriculum what actually works, we wouldn't end up becoming good science communicators.
Just always
Yeah.
be obsolete.
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
We're literally just throwing it out there and being like, hope that works.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I still can't figure out why one video goes viral versus another. I mean, for me, it's a little bit obvious because it's like more cleavage versus less. But then that's
Yeah,
the only
I
constant.
found the same thing to be true in my videos.
You get it.
Oh,
It's
you
just
say
like,
cleavage.
just push it up. You're like, okay, this will get at least 6 figures. But
Well,
yeah.
so how do you feel about that? Does that like influence your decision to
show more
like
cleavage or not?
moderate
To show more
cleavage
feet?
amount or
Yeah, I don't do it too often, but then I don't mind. I've worked in Hollywood for so long. I'm like, this is mild. I don't
Yeah,
mind. I
it
don't mind a
is.
little bit of a line. It's
Yeah.
fine. So let
you
the
fe-
Sims.
Do you feel
enjoy.
like the increased viewership though are genuinely people who are interested in science, or do you get like just in sort of a ton of inappropriate comments and that sort of thing?
I think it's probably a mix of both, but I genuinely don't give a shit. If it's like what kind of
That's the right
initially
attitude to
draws
have.
them
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
No, she legit doesn't.
go for it.
It's pretty incredible.
Were you always at that space? I think I used to struggle with the idea of like casting a broad net and then like hooking people in with something else besides the science because I was like, I just want to talk about science.
Right.
But I think I've evolved to that perspective as well, where it's like, you know, we could make something that's funny or make something that's like off kilter and then hook them in with that.
Absolutely,
But
right?
do you feel like you took like time to get there, or do you feel like you started
No,
that way?
I think that was just me. Also because although I don't have a formal science background, it kind of worked to my advantage because I think it allowed me to just tackle whatever I'm doing now ignorantly.
You have
and that
work experience too.
I have work
though.
experience, working at
So,
Griffith
yeah.
and then like all that kind of stuff. But it's like I was never bound to an institution or like a formal training that maybe kind of boxed myself in on what science communication should be, if that makes sense.
Oh, they have
So-
opinions for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but because I'm not bound to anyone or anything, like I don't care. And then entertainment was a bigger part of my life than science anyway. So it was just bringing who I was into it. And if I happen to have sexual appeal, I'm not going to deny that.
Do you guys remember Hot for Words on YouTube? One of the biggest creators on YouTube back in the day. I mean, we're talking like 15 plus years ago. She was, I think, a Russian woman. The page was actually called Too Hot or Hot for Words or something like that. And her expertise was language and the root of words. But she dressed in such a way that like you knew why you were there, but you're like, I guess I'll learn something while I'm here.
Yeah, totally.
And like she was one of the first people to be like, I'm totally just gonna lock in on education mixed with this, and it's like, and she had millions of followers.
Yeah, right?
So it's like, who cares?
It's a visual medium.
Yeah.
Hollywood has always been about beautiful people because psychologically that's who we want to watch. So, you know.
I mean, even as a straight woman, I was like, I am gonna watch this.
No, hell yeah.
From beginning
Go
to end.
queen. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch
exactly.
this whole thing. Yeah.
No,
Interesting.
totally. So yeah, but yeah, that's a great question though. For me, never crossed my mind. I was like, this is just who I am. I'll have some cleavage because I do anyway. So if
Yeah,
it ends up in a
that's true.
video,
Yeah, I try to
So
wear
be
a
it.
sports bra for everyone's sake, just to make sure. Otherwise, it's like, what?
so bright. No, I'm kidding.
Dakota, you do the thing with the grill, right? You're wearing it. I think this is the first time you actually worn it while we were on the podcast.
I think so,
right?
probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the grill does a similar thing for you. Would you say?
Or
It appeals to a group.
Well, yeah, in terms of sort of like defying expectations, right? It's like talking about science, but also being hot. That's like, oh, wait a second. Okay, you're hot and you're talking about science, or you have cleavage and you're telling me about physics or stars, or like
Right.
whatever it is. And I do think that there's an element of like surprise that is absolutely critical in short form. It's like the game that we're playing, right? So
Totally.
you could not play it and then just not get any views. But I do think that. But I mean, like, I wear the grill when I'm outside sometimes if I feel like it. So definitely, I think another cool thing with the grill is that this is actually a relic from outer space, right? Like gold, we know can only be created in these super energetic explosions. So I mean, this is
You're like, I'm with
education.
it.
Yeah,
This
there
is
you
science
go.
education.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
You know,
Well,
that's
you
right.
also got those workout videos too.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of thirst
What's
trappy on
anatomy?
there.
That's anatomy.
That's
Oh,
not,
of course.
That's science based though. I add, I'm an advocate here. See, now it's not funny. It's not
Oh, I'm
funny.
not laughing.
Stop smiling.
I'm just smiling. I'm smiling. I'm proud of you, man. Proud of you.
I appreciate that, bro. That means a lot.
And the
coming
benching,
from you.
very
I know that's
impressive.
hard for you to say. Well, yeah, but it's like, I almost think of lifting weights as a battle with the earth.
Anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity.
Lifting, yeah.
For a brief-
Ultimately, I agree with everything you're saying because what I
I
at
love
least
to hear that.
right. Well, like responses I'm getting from followers too, and it's not specifically said, but then they're always like kind of shocked about somebody who is very informal or doing other things or cleavage or sexuality mixed with science. And I think a lot of people always felt left behind in these subjects because they never felt smart enough to like, oh, I have to be just like these nerds in order to understand it. So they felt ostracized. But if you see all types of people doing all types of shit, being able to communicate science, they feel a bit more welcome. It's just we're just humanizing the subject a little more.
Yeah, we're all just people.
Yeah,
Exactly. You don't
we have
have
other
to be-
interests. We could be sexual, we could weightlift, all of this, and still be interested in science. It's not
Yeah.
one or the other.
I like
Yeah.
how the nerds, though, that's the whole thing. It's like, this is their thing, their little science world. And if you don't fit their agenda, like they didn't fit yours in high school or something. Or, It's so
Right.
interesting how it's always just about, can I just be myself and just like the things that I
I know,
like?
my
Literally.
God, yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
Totally.
Like, come on, lay off.
You know, what's interesting to me is the transition that it feels like we're all kind of making around the same time. Whereas like most of our careers, I know you've done acting and I've done some TV work as well, but most of our careers have been kind of making short form content, at least in science communication. And we're kind of easing into this longer form format. I think I'd be curious about the impetus behind why you all decided to do that. I think part of the reason for us was that we feel like in an age of AI generated content and all these things that can pretty much be replicated, authentic conversations with people have so much more staying power. And I'm just curious about ways to show up in this format that work for people and also make them feel welcome, included, etc.
We decided to start ours like a little over a month ago because Ashley getting a free membership at Lighthouse, I was like, let's use this.
Math.
Why not?
Yeah.
If it's like a free facility to
Yeah.
record.
Yeah, why
And
not?
like her and I, when we hang out, like talking about science anyway, genuinely. So we might
Yeah.
as well throw it on camera. I think too, speaking of like money wise, short form is great. If TikTok pays you, you'll get the random collabs. But something feels a little more consistent with like a podcast. If you go to the
Yeah.
point of getting subscribers, every month you'll be getting this. So it's almost like, might as well.
Yeah.
It was almost like that. Might as well. Just
Might
do
as
it.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we do
Exactly.
talk about it all the time anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, get a camera.
So let's just put it, just record it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. How long have y'all been cool though?
We met last summer. on a TV
on that
show.
team that Dakota got invited to and didn't want to do.
And that's probably why I took a spot. I'm thinking, now I'm sad. I'm like, I was second choice. Damn you. Maybe. I don't actually know.
No, the clips were great, and it looked like it was a lot of fun.
It was so
And
fun.
I definitely got some FOMO afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
is that the thing you were
okay.
telling me about? Because we were working on a project a couple years ago, and I think I was like in motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was around the same time.
Okay.
I literally called him to convince him to do it.
Oh, wow.
And then I
you
heard the
still-
term for the first time ever, which was astrology queens. He was like, I don't want to deal with the astrology queens. And I was like, that is the best term I've ever heard, and I'm going to use it forever. You don't even remember saying it.
I don't.
It was such a good term. I was like, that, yeah. And I was worried too, though, actually, when I got there. I was like, oh, God, is anybody? But nobody really was. Everybody was pretty normal.
Yeah.
Everybody had
was-
interesting backgrounds, but
Yeah. And mostly they're to debunk, minus like one or two other
Yeah.
people who tended to be more on the conspiracy side.
but they would say beforehand, I don't actually believe this, by the way, but I'm
yeah,
gonna
but I'm going to
act
be the
like I
one to
do.
like provoke
Like,
because we need,
Interesting.
yeah, we need some controversy.
That's why they
But
sat me where they sat me. They thought we were going to disagree, and it was like, most of the time she would look at me and be like, I also think this is bullshit.
Wait, who? You
Mariah
and I?
sat next
Oh,
to me.
Mariah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, so we met there a year ago, stayed friends.
Interesting. Is there any conspiracy that people here believe in?
Ooh. Oh my God, I feel like I do have one. I don't want to talk about it though. There's a 9/11 one that I'm like,
Got it. That's
but
fair.
that I kind of
Are you a truther? 9/11 truther?
no. I just think that there was some element that was pre-planned that isn't showcased a lot because those buildings came down like perfectly. I don't know. I just feel like it looked like I don't know. But anyway, that's the only one I
Worked
can
out
think
too
of off
well.
the top of my
No,
head.
that's fine. If there's anything, it's kind of like the government-related ones that I tend to believe.
Yeah.
I do think the Charlie Kirk thing is fishy. Maybe
then the
it's too
wife.
soon to talk about that shit.
But yeah,
but
Yeah.
but like space science stuff, not at all. But government-ish things, yeah, I could see it.
Well, a lot of the space conspiracies people do say are
Oh, because
government.
they're like NASA, and I'm like, NASA's not the only fucking space agency in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
Yeah, people have like very little understanding. They'll say things like, I'll make a video and they'll be like, you listen to NASA and that like I do my own research.
I know,
NASA
I-
is not incled in any way.
They just
Nobody
assume-
from NASA told me any of this.
Bro, you're just a NASA plant.
Yeah.
You're a
You know,
NASA plant,
that's what
clearly.
a NASA plant would say.
With that being said, if NASA has any bucks, if they haven't been completely defunded
Yeah,
by
tell
now,
me about
Oh
it.
God.
I'll say whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
Absolutely. But stupid shit like Earth being flat, we don't even need a government
Ugh.
thing for that. Like Eratosthenes
Yeah.
measured the curve.
Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes.
I should have never picked that name.
I say it differently every single time.
it's a
too.
tough name. I should have never done it.
Eratosthenes. But like
Almost
he
said
figured that
Aeropostale
shit
the
out.
first time.
Aeropostale.
modern
yeah,
day
it's-
Aeropostale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Aeropostale. Aeropostale.
Figured out the curvature of the Earth like 3,000 years ago, guys. Aeropostale
Or,
did it.
sound
so-
of-
We can actually see Griffith Observatory from here. They have
Shout
this
out.
giant
Yeah.
pendulum called Foucault.
Foucault pendulum,
Yeah. Say it again.
Foucault pendulum.
Foucault pendulum. Thank you.
No, you're
And
I work there.
you can tell that the Earth is. Oh, all right.
No, that's why I know how to say it.
Don't let me mansplain.
Mansplainer. What are you doing, bro? She
Like,
works
yeah, I
here.
actually manned that for 10 years.
For 10 years, pretty much 10
Wait,
years.
would you explain it? Because this is like a very obvious and simple.
Yeah, Foucault pendulum, first one invented by French physicist Jean something Foucault. French Foucault.
French.
Typical French first name.
Jean-Pierre, perhaps?
Probably, I think
Jean-Pierre
so.
Foucault?
Probably.
I'll look it up.
It's
Ou
probably
est
like
la
that.
bibliothèque.
But in in the 1800s, invented or created the Foucault pendulum using Newton's laws of motion to prove that the Earth rotates. Obviously, at that time, we hadn't gone out to space to see it, but what the pendulum does is essentially swing in the same direction all day while the Earth rotates underneath it. So at Griffith, we have a plate of pegs set up on the floor by the pendulum, and every 8 minutes, one by one, they get knocked down because the pendulum is being brought into the path. I'm sorry, I should say the Earth is being brought into the path of the swinging pendulum. If we put a visual here, it'll make more sense. But just know it was the first, at least in the Western world, experiment created to prove Earth's rotation. So we know it spins. And it does the rotation at a different duration depending on your latitude.
Interesting.
And I say that because the closer you get to the equator, the longer it would take for the pendulum to appear as though it's made a full circle. Obviously, at the poles, it's the minimum amount of time, 24 hours. So anyway, so it's latitude-based as well. It's actually, physics-wise, you'd probably actually know more about it than me in that realm because it gets, the real shit behind it is so complicated. But all you need to know is that it proves the fact that the Earth rotates. since like the 1850s.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's like the first thing you see when you walk into Griffith.
So what do flat earthers? Did flat earthers ever encounter it and have opinions?
They will contradict anything you say. Because I've met quite a few there. Unfortunately, because we're a free museum, there's no shortage of characters that come through. Hence why my pilot is based on the shit show of Griffith. Great times. But no matter what you say, they'll just come up with some bullshit. Oh my God, the other week, this guy was like very Bible, flat earther, firmament, all of that stuff. He's like, I just haven't seen enough evidence that the earth is a curve versus flat. And then he's like, even those videos of ships passing beyond the horizon that you see gradually disappearing, he's like, I just don't believe it. I pulled it up to show him a ship passing over the horizon. He doesn't believe it.
Like,
so like, what do
no.
you do? So what do you do at this point? You're just here to argue. I don't get paid enough for that.
It's good of you to try, though.
Yeah.
I would have given up immediately. I would have been like, cool, yeah, it's flat. I mean,
I get
what are
so
you supposed to
heated.
say?
I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you why
even
are you
bother?
here? So no matter what evidence you give them, if they've made up their minds, it doesn't matter ultimately.
Yeah, I think it's very different when you can tell that you are actually going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in that case, always, people come to me, maybe I'm like the first person that they've seen online talking about space. And so they have like real questions. I'm like, yeah, I'll send them resources, and you can just tell if somebody's wants to talk and is open to learning,
open,
or if
yeah.
they like already know it. Oh, nope, you're lying. You're getting paid by some mystery space org to lie.
Yeah.
And it's not even the motivation there isn't clear. I
Yeah.
think it comes from something about debunking the Bible. They think that it's science's way of getting people not to believe in God or something like that.
There's non-religious
Right.
people, though, that are on that ship, too, though.
Oh yeah?
You
Well, the
know-
motivation becomes even less clear to me in that case because
That's a psychiatry
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah, I've
because
always wondered.
I feel like it's like in religion when they try to convert people to their religion. That's like a basis for every religion on the planet. And there's some psychological level where you want everybody to think the way you think. There's
Yeah.
like there's some
that might be
balancing
human
act.
nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Or it's like a savior mentality. They were maybe outcasts in school because they didn't understand science, and now they feel important because
Actually-
they know the truth and they're here to save us.
It's like
us.
actually,
For some
I was the
people.
only one that understood it the whole time. Everybody else was brainwashed.
Everybody else's eyes.
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
That's
closed.
why I got bad grades in science.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Is that
they're
the
just
red
sheep?
pill thing,
Yeah.
or no?
No, that's
Okay.
not. red
I thought
pill.
of the Matrix right when you said that, and I was like, wait a minute, is that the...
I mean,
But you're familiar with this, like online,
red
like
pill ideology.
red pill ideology,
Not
like
really.
I guess
Mint-
I was assuming what you kind of you were like. We all bought into this fake world,
Right,
and
that's what I thought.
The conspiracy people are the
I guess
other
kind
pill?
of like, yeah, I guess that's kind of what it is.
except the framework that
Yeah.
that lie framework that's been bought into is that like women are okay, or like that
Oh,
women
it's
are
a
equal
woman
people.
thing?
Yeah, it's like an anti. It's really
Oh, I
like an
didn't know.
anti-woman
tired of it.
sentiment.
oh really?
For like the incels, or like the women are gold digger type of male. Like when people say, I feel like when people say take away the podcast from men, they're talking almost exclusively about these like red pill ideology.
What does red
guys.
pill have to do with it? I don't understand.
So it's the red pill blue pill thing. Like take
Yeah.
this is how like women really are. They suck.
So
Basically,
I'll
the
do a
problem
quick,
with society.
Not in the way you want, apparently.
I'll do a quick AI overview just so we're not
On the red
entirely
pill?
butchering. Yeah, so red pill ideology is used by an online misogynistic movement known as the manosphere, and adherents believe the society is biased against men
Yeah.
and dominated by feminist interests, and that taking the red pill means awakening to the supposed truth.
God, if
Oh my
only, dude.
God.
It's
If
like,
only.
it's like the reverse racism. Sort
God
So
of.
there's some
forbid.
key tenets. There's male victimhood, which the war on men. We're all victims here.
War on men.
The female nature that women are supposed to be like a certain type of way, and then
Cooking
there's like
clean.
Yeah,
Is that
what that means?
Probably.
Like the big thing about that is the 80-20 rule. Like that's like a whole thing about
80-20?
It's like they're saying that 80% of women don't want, or 80% of women want 20% of men. That's like a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So that's
Sorry.
What started it?
so
Algorithmically, though, that's not entirely off.
yeah.
Because if you go into the algorithms of like Tinder and Hinge, it is the top 10% of men getting pushed.
Uh-oh.
That is like a thing. I have a
Well,
friend
that
who
doesn't
worked at-
surprise me.
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure-
that's
I
not
wouldn't be
surprising at all. I
surprised.
don't think that
Yeah.
has anything to do with red pill.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe
ideology,
it was
though.
like the. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so Jackie off camera was saying, we didn't probably pick that up on the mic, but there's this whole 80-20 principle of like 80% of women being only attracted to this 20% of men. And it's kind of aligned with this alpha beta hierarchical nature of men, that it's like, well, there's these dominant, desirable men and these beta males that, you know, if you like subscribe to this red pill ideology, you can improve yourself and become more alpha so that you can attract that 80% of women.
God, what a mess. God forbid.
So I don't even know.
The
what to think
first
about
time in history, women are like, oh, let's have a little bit of power. And men are like, oh my God, we're victims now. They're so fucked up. Like, Jesus Christ, this is the first time this is happening and they're losing their goddamn minds.
It's the same thing for the nerd. It's everybody just wants to be accepted. Literally, that's the root of all this stuff. Everybody just wants to be accepted.
Yeah.
And whenever there's any pushback in the wrong direction, the other side freaks out. And it just goes on and on.
But like, when in society, hasn't the 80-20 thing existed?
No, I think that this is a basic thing. Yeah, like that seems like always
Isn't
to
that
have been the
always?
case. But it's like with the rise of feminism, well, you know, they say that when you've been privileged for so long, equality feels like oppression. Because in a sense,
Ooh, that's a good line.
Yeah.
what
that
the
is, yeah.
you know the
Good
privilege that you have had is being encroached on because you were your boundaries were sort of spilling over into other people's area and you were oppressing them. So it is like true that the fence is like receding on you a little bit.
Sure. And you're scared of losing this freedom that you
Right.
had
That's
or
a
this
great way of
privilege.
explaining
You
it.
know, or
Yeah.
even thinking about the function of relationships where like if women can't have a bank account, if they have like you can't get divorced because society will think that you're like a bad person or something, then it is very easy, I think, for people to get married, and like there is no real incentive for men to like become a better person because like women literally had to find somebody to
We
marry,
had to just to survive.
Yeah.
right? And
It
it's
was
like
like Jeff.
now you don't have to, and it's like I'm not gonna date somebody that I don't like or that doesn't make me feel good or
No,
whatever.
exactly.
The
'Cause
same standard though for men when you get older, it's the same thing. You don't want to have anyone in your life that it's making your life harder. I just think as you get older, you're like, relationships are cool, but if you make my life even a little bit harder, I don't think I want to do this. I think that's just a getting
Sure.
older thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like everybody in your 30s, at least it feels like we're all kind of on the same page in that regard.
Right.
But
And
maybe
they're-
not. I live in LA. I don't.
That's true.
You
And
know,
the
I don't
city's
know what the
crazy.
rest is
But they're
doing.
making it seem like 100% of women want the top 20% of men. Most women I know want to be single. So it's like they're making it seem like
Yeah,
they're
and they
all
are.
being left out. So I'm like, no, we actually don't want anybody.
Yeah.
What do they
We're
say
good.
the top 20% even looks like or acts
It's probably
or-
like above 6 feet, above six
Oh, that
figures.
whole
That blue
thing.
eyes, finance, whatever
Okay.
bullshit.
Oh, you
that
got
they
it.
say.
You got it down.
On Raya when I was on there.
Cited it verbatim.
I was like, oh yeah. I actually was the voice behind that, guys. You didn't know. That was my voice
Are
that
you the
went
engineer
viral.
of the red pill movement?
Secretly, just
Pulling all
causing
the
chaos.
strings. So I found the
Yes.
conspiracy that I believe in.
Yeah, that's
This
what I
is
was
all
gonna say.
being
Like,
orchestrated
I
by
was
you.
like,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a woman. Me. Just kidding. So I want to ask you guys, as minority men, how you feel about this and like what's been your experience of like dating in LA with this, everything we've just talked about, your experience.
So, you know what's funny is one of the tweets that was the impetus for our podcast was a tweet that I had that talked about red pill ideology. So I was basically like, there's this cohort of, I think, intelligent, like men that are doing well for themselves and like are interested in women and they maybe have more wholesome and less toxic beliefs that are mostly unrepresented on the internet because they've chosen peace in their lives. I think like for a lot of guys, when you reach a certain point, it's kind of like, I don't need to jump into this argument. Like
Yeah.
I got peace, you know? And so for that reason, they just don't represent themselves. And because of that, there's this younger generation of men that only can look up to this loud minority of men with their opinions and be like, this is what older guys just think.
Wow,
Right?
fascinating.
And so I was like, as men, I think as men that may fit in this cohort, like if we think we subscribe to this, we should step up. And the tweet kind of blew up, got a lot of responses from women like, yes, that is absolutely the case. And this is like, Dakota and I were talking at the time about like, we got to do something together. Like we have good chemistry on and off camera. We got to.
Too good, some would say.
Some would
Too
say.
good.
There's some
Some
allegations.
allegations.
There's some allegations, man. There's some allegations out
Those
there.
thirst traps aren't for us.
He's like, I hope Justin's watching today.
Look on the
Just kidding.
on our most recent episode, somebody said, y'all just can't keep flirting the whole episode.
That's so cute. I want waiting for them to say that to us.
I know. It's like a good thing, though, because then it's like, okay, masculinity can mean something else instead of the loud internet.
Oh my
No,
God.
And
yeah.
to your question, I think that that's something that I have come to realize over time is that, you know, it does help to have some sort of like goal for how you want to be, like to have some sort of guideline. And for masculinity, for men, it's like, if it is something, what is it? And sort of the red pill thing is like, oh, well, you got to be like this sort of like stoic, stone cold, unempathetic, unemotional thing, and you like can't listen to anybody. You do what you want. Like a man doesn't take any nonsense from anybody. And but it's telling you exactly what to be, right? And I think to me that like fails its own test. If to me being a man is being what I think other men think men are, then how am I?
It is contradictory,
right?
yeah.
How am I making those choices for myself? How am I carving out my own values, my own morals, my own ethics, if I'm trying to do what other people are telling me to do?
Well said.
Do you
That's
think
so
there's
true.
an element of having a science background that plays a role in that? Because like I can speak for women in STEM. As soon as I say my trade is mathematics, I am immediately given more respect. Like right off the bat, I'm treated a certain way. Do you guys feel like you experience that in the science world?
By whom? By who do you
Literally anybody, but the people you especially expect to maybe treat you differently just because of the way you look, the way you act, where you're from, whatever.
I think I get a lot of respect for having a PhD, for it being in astrophysics. I do think that there's like a level of respect that comes with that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get as much pushback?
I feel like I also get that as well, because I probably don't look and or sound like most people who talk about these things. I remember for the first maybe year or two online, people would just like doubt whether I was really an astrophysicist. There's tons of people who've done that. People will try to like ask other people to fact check me on videos who like aren't even scientists in the field.
No, of course.
But as time has gone on, I think that I've like built kind of an audience and a platform and a reputation for knowing about the stuff. So you kind of get a little bit of everything.
Sure.
I don't know. How do y'all feel?
What was the question?
Well, just like what role your background academically has played into how much pushback you get from either the opposite sex, like when you date or whenever if you check into a hotel. I have noted, like when I was traveling to Canada, I was getting a lot of flack from Border Patrol, which I usually do because I have a lot of Middle Eastern visas, Russian passports. Like I have a lot of like crazy stuff. And so I usually get, I usually get
Can we
stuff.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I studied Arabic in my 20s, so I traveled through the Middle East a lot. So I have a lot of Middle Eastern visas. Wow. And so they always stop me and they're like, when were you in Syria? And I always get that. But the moment the woman was like, what do you do for work? And it's such a tricky question, so I just say like, I'm a mathematician by trade. Immediately she let up and asked one more question and let me go.
Right.
Like the treatment that I get because of that is insanely different from how everybody else gets treated. And I just think that's, I don't know if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My experience has been, I think I get more respect because people, you know, I've talked half of this episode about cleavage, so I'm not surprised. But like initially they see me and they're like, oh, she's probably like a dumb blonde. And then, but when they hear of like, you know, my space interests, being like self-taught with physics and astrophysics and just like loving science, because I genuinely do, it actually helps. I remember when I went on tour for the live show of Wheel of Fortune and I played Vanna Brown. It's my name for myself.
I did see that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I remember specifically in one show, God knows where we were, because we were on tour for 3 months. You wake up in a new city, you don't know where you're at. But they had like a local newscaster come and like entertain the audience to announce us before we're coming out. And he's like, and playing our Vanna Brown, or no, sorry, our Vanna White. It's played by Kalpana Pot. She models and acts, but she's also like, whatever, space something. So he had to emphasize to the audience, literally verbatim, she's pretty and she's smart. So like, that's like such not a thing for people and women in STEM, which is crazy, but I lead with that. I actually tell people I do more science communication than I do acting because I want that respect up front. So for me, it's an insecurity, clearly, that I have to lead with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For the show last year, remember you were trying to figure out with Harvey what to even put under
I know they were like space nerd. And I'm like, bro, I wrote a book. Like, just even put like I don't know. Put something.
You've been a published author by that point.
Yeah.
So you're like, can we do
Like,
author?
we'll do a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a weird label too, science communicator. Especially someone who doesn't have a degree or a PhD in whatever. So it's hard to be like, yeah, astrophysicist. One day, guys, I plan to go back to school.
Oh,
Might
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
There's so many schools here.
I might
you
start
know?
in the what's coming up? It's winter. Just so I can have that imposter syndrome out of my own head.
Would
Be
you
like,
wanna
yes,
go,
here's a degree.
Would you want to go all the way to doctorate or just like a bachelor's? Or what
I
do you
think, yeah, because I have a degree already in communication. So if I do something like astronomy, a BS, and then maybe one day move on from there. But it's like really not that I need it because I'm not here conducting research, y'all. I'm just conveying what
Yeah.
other people have researched because I actually love this shit. But for my own imposter syndrome, I think I would just do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it sad that you feel like you have to do that? though?
Yeah. Even though I know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
interesting because you do.
I do,
Yeah.
yeah. I try
Yeah.
my best. I'm never here to mislead. I would easily have way more followers if I follow that conspiracy bullshit. Like people are like,
yeah.
3i
Yeah.
Atlas is alien. Like you could
Right.
bankrupt your values that way just for the sake of followers, but I would never do that.
So on that note, it's super interesting. Not to pivot here,
No,
but
please do.
Oh yeah, I'm totally going to. But sorry. Now, Justin and I talked about this before, and it's like, okay, so this is clearly a comet.
Yeah.
It's like very obviously a comet. But
Oh, 3i
we
Atlas.
do know that we have sent multiple, I think 4 spacecraft that are going to be, 2 of them have already left our solar system, Voyager 1 and 2. And then there was also the Pioneer craft, which I think maybe have left our solar system or not.
I
or-
don't think they've officially had interstellar
but
space just
one
yet.
day they will.
One day they will. They're just moving slower.
Right.
Yeah.
So, assuming these things withstand the test of time, which I assume that they will, they should last for like billions of years. They'll get like wrecked a little bit by, little rocks and rays and stuff, but they should be intact.
Wait, no, I don't think that's true for Voyager 1 and 2 because their battery system is running on.
Well, that doesn't matter though.
they
'cause
will
Because
be able
they'll
to-
shut down though.
They won't be able to communicate, but
They'll
they'll still
die.
be.
Oh, you just mean the structure itself?
Yeah,
just
like-
it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
Okay.
it'll be a dead thing, but it should be
Sure.
there for billions of years, right?
Yeah,
And
okay, okay.
Eventually, it's possible. I mean, one of them is actually headed towards Proxima Centauri. It's possible that these do enter some other solar system in billions of years.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if that happens, then I think that it is there is a realistic probability, even if it's very, very small, that some future civilization does actually see some crazy interstellar object enter their solar system, and it literally is a piece of alien tech. It's one of the Voyagers, and so I wonder if that has ever happened before.
Ooh.
And what would that look like? What
Maybe.
would that mean? What if this thing? It's not, but what if it was something like that? What if
Yeah.
it was somebody else's Voyager?
Yeah.
So you're super open to intelligent life or life in the universe
Well, life in the yeah.
outside
I mean,
of us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I've never seen any evidence for it,
Right,
but I
sure.
suspect that
Statistically
on
speaking,
probability.
I
Yeah.
suspect that it's out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's fun to think that because the chances aren't zero.
They're
so
not.
something could
They're
have passed
not.
through.
They are not zero
Yeah.
mathematically.
Even when
Yes.
we were cave people, something could have passed through and we wouldn't have
Yeah.
known.
Right?
I feel like that's
Yeah.
something we spend a lot of time thinking about,
Yeah.
actually. Like the prospect of what that life could look like, what kind of evolutionary or selective pressures could be occurring in other planets and other universes, and even this notion that happens in a lot of traditional science fiction of bipedalism being the dominant form of alien physical morphology. So yeah, we
What,
definitely
you think it is or isn't being bipedal?
we don't we think it isn't between conversations.
That's how
with
it's
us,
represented
but that's how it's
usually
represented.
in our media.
Okay, but you don't think.
Right.
We don't
Yeah,
think
I
that
don't
that's
either.
we don't think that's a prerequisite.
Yeah.
No, that's
Could
true.
be, but it could be many other things as well.
I mean, I think it's going to be that whatever their brain is, whatever version of that, does have to consume a ton of energy. It would have to consume more energy. Like ours is 20%, which is really rare in the animal kingdom, right? So it would have to proportionally be roughly the same, where whatever their brain's power system is
Right.
consuming a ton of energy.
I wonder if it would be. I mean, we constantly talk about this in a speculative way. So like octopi, right?
Okay.
Or octopuses.
Oh, without a brain.
Octopuses.
They're a lot of their brain tissue isn't embedded in that concentrated area. Like, what if the
Right,
brain was
okay.
kind of spread across in different ways, and I guess it could still achieve that and be like not as distinctly an independent structure in a localized area.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like none of like all this stuff is kind of just like entirely open.
Oh god,
to,
we have no idea.
No,
Yeah.
and that's what's so fun though about space and science in general. It's like imagination is so important. Albert Einstein said the same thing because it really is. You got to imagine the shit first before you can like even ponder upon the specifics of it. I always bring back Project Hail Mary because they're paying me to talk. Not here. They're paying me already. But I genuinely loved the book and I'm actually excited for the film. But the alien creature in there is more of like an octopus kind of thing. Well, more like spider-ish, but he has like multiple legs and just like a body. But it was cool to see that depicted in like a mainstream sci-fi story, that something that didn't look like us at all, but that you still empathize with. So
Like Arrival. They had Six Legs, I think, was Arrival.
And they were just symmetrical, weird looking creature.
Yeah, they were like radially symmetrical,
Yeah.
not like symmetrical.
Or maybe it was a Seven Legs.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Something.
But they drew circles.
They drew some circles.
That's all I remember from the movie. Is
But the short story that I read that the film is based on, it emphasized so much about how their society and like their life and themselves specifically, everything has to do with symmetry. So that was cool. It was more emphasized in the short story, I think, than the film.
I do think for life out there, though, I know that you have to have imagination, but I also think there's
You have
the
to constrain
statistical
yourself to some
likelihood-
degree. Yeah.
I mean, if oxygen is the third most common element in the universe, the odds of life out there utilizing oxygen at some level, pretty high. Probably carbon-based, also pretty abundant. Higher odds there. So I don't know. It starts to get to the point when you think about what it takes to create an environment where something isn't frozen or incinerating. Right? You have to have you have this balancing act, and you're like, is it going to be kind of like a life form on Earth?
But even the oxygen that was on Earth, you're like, oxygen is very abundant in the universe, true, but it's also extremely reactive.
Yeah.
So you needed a way on Earth to like produce a bunch of oxygen, and it was life that wasn't using oxygen at all. Oxygen was like a byproduct, and that had to build up in the atmosphere for billions of years before animals even had the chance to be able to use that reactive oxygen to then start evolving.
Right.
And that's O2, not like O1.
Yeah.
Right? Because Venus has a layer of oxygen too, right? But it's not the kind that we would just be able to go and
utilize.
breathe.
Yeah, does it? I actually don't know.
I'm not sure if
The only thing I know about Venus atmosphere is lots of CO2 and then
Lots
sulfuric acid.
They think there's like a really, really, really thin layer, but of O1.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that's
But
why they were
O2
like-
is what we breathe.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, but there's a difference too. There.
Yeah.
It's like, but the reactive is also helpful for us because we can move, have a brain that utilizes a lot of energy. Like you need something that's I don't know. I just feel like ultimately, if there is life out there, there's going to be some life form on Earth that kind of looks like it.
You think?
Kind of. I don't know.
I could see that because
loosely.
we have so much diversity on
Yes,
this planet
we
that
do.
like maybe it would match something, maybe like an octopus. But
Right.
I think you're right. Like imagination is important, but like within parameters, there's a reason why we want to look for liquid water on exoplanets or the potential of it, because we know that molecule is so important of pushing and pulling nutrients throughout your body.
Yeah.
So people
Yeah.
are like,
What else
why
can
do
do
we
that
have to
job?
look for water? I'm like, well, it clearly was important here, and
it's
we don't know of life
everywhere.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
So why not look for the shit that's here to look for life that's out there? At least it's a good place to start.
It's a good starting point, yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if we cross some threshold where we find one piece of life and then it just cascades from there? We keep finding it everywhere. And it's like, because it's maybe they're all the same, or it's one solar system that just has a bunch of different forms of it on different planets and moons.
Ooh,
and we
like a-
just find like 100 different life forms.
like a
right off the bat.
panspermia kind of thing, like it's this single source kind of spread throughout.
Maybe,
whatever
I don't know, but
neighborhood.
like, what if we found more than one immediately, quickly, and it was like everywhere? Can you imagine what that would do to people?
I mean, the discovery of the potential discovery of life on Mars kind of lends itself to the panspermia argument.
Right.
You know, because I guess one of the supporting ideas behind panspermia is the idea that life on Mars originated before life on Earth because the conditions suitable for life
Right, it
on
was
Mars
earlier.
were earlier. So yeah, I mean, if it's just like an abundant thing that's like these like almost like crestless form, whether they're chemical compounds or things like that can easily, under the right conditions, evolve into life forms. I think, yeah, that's an awesome consideration.
That is really cool.
I also love how much people didn't really care. Like, what if we discover life and every's like, I got bills to pay, and they don't even care?
that would be very
they say
telling
about
of
everything.
society.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah.
people will do that. I mean, AI has been a big deal, but I think still people are kind of
Really
like
so
it's kind of
disconnected.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
floating into the background,
Yeah.
and people still got bills to pay.
They still got
Yeah,
this-
right.
No, that's so true. We talked about that in our last recording too, with like AI bubble and how ChatGPT is like not even making money because most people are using the free version. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
who the fuck is spending $500 a month on it when I'm like, I just got to make sure I pay rent.
Is that how much it is?
I actually don't remember.
That's
But, like,
the,
the
I think
lot.
the
It's a
pro
lot.
version I think is $200 a month,
$200.
and the
okay.
plus
Yeah.
version is $20 a
$20,
month.
yeah.
And recently, Gemini 3, which is Google's AI product, has like entirely exceeded on like multiple benchmarks ChatGPT to the point where they barely have a moat of, even in terms of like monthly active users, weekly active users, whereas Google has all of the infrastructure to keep and maintain a profitable company.
Whoa.
So
Because it was
it's
already
already there.
Google.
So
already
you when you
there.
Google search something, it's already using Gemini 3 now instead of just their traditional search algorithms. So those count as monthly active users on the Gemini platform. Then Nano Banana's images
Wow.
are completely realistic
I saw
compared to
that.
everyone else's.
The
I haven't seen
Pro?
that.
Holy shit. We're
Nana
done
Banana?
for.
What?
Yeah, so Nano Banana is one of
Nano
it's Google's image generation AI platform, and they released a second iteration of it. I think it was like I don't want to timestamp us because we don't know when this is coming out, but it was at some point in history that was
At
before
some
this
point
podcast.
in the past. Or the future, if you believe in the broad universe.
2025. That's true.
Yeah, at some point, maybe in the future, maybe in the past. But yes, Nano Banana is their image generating platform that is like, I mean, I don't know, the stuff that's come out there, you've probably already seen it and just didn't think it was AI.
Oh, that scares
Oh my
me.
God.
It's
girl.
the first one, I think, where like I'm a pixel peeper, you all know like media stuff.
Yeah.
And I can pixel peep a Nano Banana image and not find any evidence.
Oh my
that it's AI.
God. We're screwed.
Oh, that scares me.
My industry as Hollywood is fucked, but it's been that way
Yeah.
for a long time.
I
but
think
it's crazy.
but I think a lot of people think that they're better at discerning what's AI and what's not than they actually are.
It used to be.
It used to be. You
Used
get
to
the
be
six
good at it.
fingers and all that weird shit.
But
It's
that
just
was like
uncanny.
2 years ago. It
was a
wasn't
while
even that
ago.
long ago. I mean, but like
No.
relatively speaking, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. But yeah, like I think people are going to continue to normalize it, and it's just
AI.
going to continue to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going anywhere. So like that as an approach, I think you're kind of like tying your own hands behind your back. If you're like not aware of what it can do and like how you could even leverage it, then you kind of disempower yourself, I think.
In the same way that one not knowing how to use a smartphone
Right.
or Google search
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Microsoft Word is not adequately empowered
Yeah.
today.
Do you guys use chat often? Like how often if you do?
Anytime that I don't know how to do something, almost I'll go to ChatGPT. Like, I'm doing some editing or something, and it's like, oh, this video has this issue. Is there a way to fix it? And then bam, figure it
Yeah.
out. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that I use it whenever I'm like getting tripped up and trying to figure out how to do something.
Right.
Yeah, I am kind of an AI power user at this point. Like I feel like I use a different combination of tools. I'm actually building a course right now for AI agents on N8N. I don't know if you heard of that. So N8N is like not sponsored. N8N is like an AI agent workflow building tool. So if you wanted to, let's say you have like a bunch of fans reaching out to you with emails and you wanted to send a personalized email to each of them based on the general category of the types of responses that you get and in your voice, you could automate that entire process now with an AI agent. It can,
Damn.
yeah. So you can personalize them, and so that, like ChatGPT has agent mode, which it can book flights for you and stuff like that. That's cool, but you can build personalized ones that are more niche and actually more precise. They don't hallucinate as much because you can like really define the parameters of the data that they have access to and the types of work that they're doing.
Wow.
So so I'm like building out a course right now for like how to actually use one of these tools. But yeah, I use like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Midjourney. I mean, yeah, I feel like we've been using AI
Like
tools for a long
cactus. You just
time.
mix them up, and I'm like, I don't even know.
Yeah, like, oh,
don't
yeah.
even know what that
That
is.
could- that could
Yeah, I
be
just
real.
made up like
great.
3 of
That could
those.
be real. Yeah.
We had one episode a while ago, maybe a couple months ago, where something happened and the SD card that our audio was saved on got damaged.
That was actually here.
Yeah. So it was we just lost the whole audio, and all we had was the audio from the cameras, which obviously sucks because the camera's far away, and it's like it's not designed for high quality audio, and so we were like, all right, did we scrap this episode? And then Justin found an AI tool that was able to do isolation on the voice and make it usable. And I don't think that anybody even realized that we had it. But when we listened to it, it was kind of interesting because, and this may have been like a training thing because what we were talking about was a bunch of science stuff. It really made our voices sound like these nasally high pitched like white dude science voices. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like talking like this the whole time.
Yeah,
But it didn't seem like anybody noticed it.
Yeah,
It was like the notion of
gotcha.
astrophysics. And, like, I feel like we
Wait,
were
was
really.
it that bad?
Well, you all have to listen to it at some point.
Okay.
We'll probably
Yeah.
show. We'll probably show you the episode.
No,
but,
totally. Oh my lord.
Yeah,
don't-
but
don't
but
ruin
like
those
we were ready
voices.
to scrap the episode. So we had like from a production perspective, it was like
Yeah.
functionally unusable.
Wow, but then AI can
we
fix
had
it.
audio from a camera that was like that far away that was used.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good.
Damn.
Almost as far away as I have to keep my mic, which I
Yeah,
just
you got that in your
realized.
pocket, damn near.
I know, she's like, I didn't put it there.
I think it might have
Hopefully we
fallen a
haven't.
little girl.
Jackie, have you been hearing her?
Because
God,
I'm
you're
loud
so
as
loud.
shit.
She is loud as shit.
Oh, when I was a demo singer, and they would like start setting when the audio engineer would come in and start setting me up, and he would always it'd be like right here. I'm like, bro, you're gonna want to back that up. And he's like,
Back that
and
thing
he'd be
up.
like, no, I'll level it. And I was like, no, you will not be
blow
able
it
to.
out.
Yeah, and I was always given songs that were belty. You know, because they always wanted me to do like the big songs because of my voice, and I was like, this thing's gonna catch on fire. So you should probably.
You probably
start
have
very
like
low.
a super impressive diaphragm. Like
Yeah.
probably, like, you're probably in the top 1% of
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
muscle
We
mass
can
and
play a
diaphragm.
song. Well, yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, you do opera training on how to flex that muscle on command. To this day, I breathe differently because of it.
Interesting.
You use your diaphragm just to breathe completely. They do it in yoga too, I think. It's a similar
Yeah.
approach, but it's like a constant flex of your diaphragm. That's why my voice is loud when I talk. I'm talking from my diaphragm.
Which is powerful.
Yeah, it's gotten
clearly.
louder over time.
Dang.
My
Interesting.
poor mother, she's probably deaf in one ear at this point. From being in the car, like that ear. is
Hey,
like-
Mom. Can we turn the radio on? You're like, holy fuck, I'm right here.
Her voice is like yours. It's very gentle. She's got a quieter
Gotcha.
voice. She just has a loud whistle that can literally break the sound barrier, I think.
That's cool.
And she's 5 feet tall, so she's so little. You can throw her,
Little,
but
yeah.
she's got a little voice. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I can only belt, although I'm a soprano, I can only belt in like a middle register, kind of like a Rihanna or Alicia Keys. I
Okay.
can't do that high pitch belting at all. That's
Well,
when I become very quiet.
I mean, there's like that head tone, like the high, like
Yeah.
kind of sound, but then there's like this voice coming out full volume. That's when it's like,
And you know, I was trained in like Indian classical where they're not so fucking technical like they are in Western music.
I love those
so-
scales.
Oh my God. But
Yeah.
here, everything was just so quantitative versus there, it was just like, just sing. And I liked that so much more. So when I've actually auditioned a couple times for some Broadway, was to play Jasmine in Aladdin like once or twice.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But it was
it's
just
the
like-
same country, isn't it? Like,
Absolutely.
I
That
mean,
brown girl, long dark hair,
obviously.
she can sing. But then I remember the first time casting was like, she's great, but something I forgot, less head voice, more chest voice. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Singing is singing.
She wanted more chest voice.
I wanted more chest, and I think
Oh,
I had
yeah.
more head. And I'm like, I don't know what that means because singing to me was just singing. But here they make
Hmm.
it so goddamn technical. Not to say it's not amazing, but it's
Totally,
just
yeah.
like now that you literally put yourself in your head because now
Yeah.
you're thinking about it versus just doing it.
The Western music, they really want to control the tones.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were gonna say because a lot of Indian skills they have like those half steps everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
which in Western music doesn't have. So it's almost more flexible if you really learn them.
Yeah,
But
you have
I
a lot
could
of good control over your voice.
But I could see how if you were learning Western music, it's a bigger jump between intervals depending on the scale. That would mess me up if I had been
Right.
training on.
yeah, it's just like, well,
Yeah.
you don't hear all these, you don't learn all these technical things, and
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, what is this anymore? It's not math.
That tonal control is pretty tough to shift from like head to chest and make it sound good. It's tough.
I
yeah.
just and I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, okay, I don't
know.
know what you're saying. I hit the notes. Doesn't that matter?
You know, whenever I used to get a gig and they'd be like, hey, it was always the audio engineer. I'd be like, can you do that scarier or like louder or more hurtful? Or I was like, what the words you'd get, you'd be like, what is that even supposed to mean?
Yeah.
They'd be like, more painful. I'm like, for you, for me? Like,
Yeah,
what do
I know, like physically,
what kind of pain
emotionally,
you
what do
want?
you
I don't
need?
know, you know?
So how do you all sound as a duet?
We've never tried.
Probably pretty good because you want to have two opposite voices.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was
Yeah.
I think we're in the same
should
range
try.
but different tones, which is fun for
Guys,
like.
we just started this podcast. The band
Yeah.
will come next year, okay?
I was gonna say
Baby
'cause
steps.
Lindsay, who I met the other day, she's a drummer.
There you go.
Yeah.
STEM band.
Another STEM girly. Yeah.
I was talking to Dakota and he disagrees, but I was like, we should get like a little jingle at the beginning of our stuff. And he was like, that's so.
Yeah.
He was
He's
like,
like,
that's so
absolutely not.
like 2000s, like.
Yeah. A YouTube channel with an intro song. I do think that that's like
I made one for us.
2000s.
I made a little like.
Do it. What is it?
Oh, it's not singing. It's like just noise.
What
Oh,
is
do
it?
you
Yeah,
mean
make it with your
singing?
mouth.
Well,
I don't think I can. It's
I know, I'm
like
trying to
robot
remember.
noises.
Like
Yeah,
beep,
it's
boop.
like
I don't think
it's
I
more
can.
percussion than it is like a.
It is.
What are the
yeah.
notes? What are the notes?
I don't even remember.
Doom, 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 doom. You don't know?
No.
Did you not know? Did you just
repetitive.
lie about this?
No, I'm like trying to, it's so quick. It's like 4 seconds
Yeah,
long
it's just
or
like our
something.
title, some flashes,
Yeah.
and like a quick little sound over it.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Now I'm like,
Well,
I'm like,
same. I can picture it.
Allegedly.
oh yeah, it's like a do. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's higher than my voice.
You
Oh,
know,
like the
that-
Mario, like dinner, dinner, dinner.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, it is
Da-da-da-da-da.
actually. I think we should all be in a band.
Yeah, you want to be
should
careful
be in a
there. I
band.
think Mario's like copywritten probably or something, right?
It's
Trademark
not
or
it's
something?
not really Mario.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
It's too far to
Can
think
you guys
it
carry a
is.
tune?
You guys have musical inclinations?
Okay, I can carry a little tune.
Justin plays the piano.
Also,
Oh, you
also
should join our band.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Here we
Justin
go.
played the piano one time when he was like 17.
No, I,
Oh,
literally
okay.
played classical music on the
Okay.
piano, and nobody believes me.
I
don't
don't
know why-
believe you.
Wait, do you have a piano?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah, I do.
keyboard?
Yeah,
No, he
We're in a
doesn't.
band, guys.
yeah.
We're
I
about
do
to
have
make
a
a
keyboard.
band.
Oh, that's not a piano.
Well, yeah, I don't have like a
Is
grand
it,
piano.
Yeah, but is it
just sitting
88
around.
keys?
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
88
yeah,
keys.
yeah,
it's a
that's
piano.
fine.
It's a
There
piano.
wasn't 88 keys when I saw it.
It is 88
84.
keys.
It was-
He's got some broken
that was a
missing a
Timu
few.
keyboard. There was
keys.
50 or 60 keys or
That's
something
crazy.
like
He's
that.
just,
Nobody
he's
can
just
tell.
upset because he can't join our band. What do you? How are you going to contribute to our band?
Yeah.
I
Beatbox.
feel like I bring more essence than
Gotcha.
musical.
Like a zesty kind of.
I wouldn't say that. I would say like aura.
Okay.
Or a house?
Yeah.
I mean, we would have like a Gregorian sound because you're obviously alto. I'm a contralto, tenor, and you're definitely a bari. So
Us-
it's gonna
I
have
grew-
that like.
I grew up soprano girl. Maybe now I'm an alto.
Really?
Yeah, soprano 1.
In Western music, soprano
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, because we don't have those labels in Indian music. So
Yeah.
I learned here.
Okay.
This
Not
is
even
like,
mezzo, soprano.
Yeah, but this
Damn,
was
I can't
like,
hear that
God
at all.
knows if that's still the case though. This was years ago. My voice might have deepened.
It could have.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Your prima voce is gonna be the same, probably.
Why do you think
curious.
music sounds good to us?
Ooh.
From an evolutionary perspective, that's
Ooh.
hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before. Mine's
I think
being
there's two
blown.
types of music. I think there's rhythm, and then I think there's melody harmony. So I think they're both different types of feelings that you get.
Why?
Yeah.
though?
Because I don't know.
I listened to a fascinating lecture. I think this was in the Bay about how there are some animals that can perceive melody, but there are a lot of animals that can't. Like they
And
can't
don't.
perceive like the. I think cows.
How did they test that? It was like
Yeah, I
they
can't-
just
I
put
can't remember the
headphones on all the animals and saw like which
Probably.
ones started bopping. Like, oh shit, this shit kind of slaps.
I might actually. The lecture was so many years ago. I might actually be
Maybe.
butchering the premise of the lecture, but it was fascinating. But another thing that I've seen that was fascinating on video is like you all ever seen those videos where the guys will go to like a farm and they'll like be playing a trombone or
Oh,
like
yeah,
a,
yeah.
a trumpet, and the cows will all like gather around
Yeah.
and be like,
Till the cows come home.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
I know,
totally
it's
respond to
cute.
music. That's why, like, was it the German, the Swiss, the ones with the yodeling to draw the sheep and the cows in? Animals
Switzerland,
totally
right?
respond
Yeah,
to it.
Swiss.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was to
Interesting.
draw the yodeling.
You know, so I've also heard thoughts about while we're in the womb, and again, this is not, I don't know, but like this theory is that while we're in the womb, we're subjected to the heartbeat of our mothers. And so like this is a rhythm that we're kind of attuned to and we associate with a certain comfort. But I think that that's completely different from music, which has like different RPMs and a heartbeat.
Yeah, but they're
and
always
it can,
120. So many songs are in 120 RPM.
interesting.
That sounds high for
That's what
a
it is.
heartbeat.
120. Well, because, I mean, half of that.
Maybe
so
if
yeah,
you're
the
like
half beat would be in
exercising
the
or something.
60s.
That's high, right? 120?
Oh,
So
for
you
a
work out to
heartbeat,
music.
sure. But 60 would be like the half steps of that. So that would be
Oh,
more of like the
okay.
steady. Yeah, but just when we write music, we put everything in 120 usually. Not everything, but
Interesting.
Who was that producer that just admitted that he made everything in 120 because he didn't know you can change it on Ableton? It was one of the big guys. Who's married to Selena Gomez? It's that dude.
I don't know.
Yeah, I never know.
Thank you.
What's his
Yes,
name?
Benny
Just say the
Blanco.
mic. Yeah.
He only recently figured out that you can change the RPMs. So all of his music was on 120 for like his early career.
Interesting.
Huh.
Which I think 60 is close to the heartbeat, right? Or 60.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
between 60 and 70. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
generally. Yeah.
If you're young and fit, getting
if you're
pregnant.
fit, you're usually under 60, and if you're like a super athlete, you're like under 50. And then you can get into the 40s as like a marathon or ultra marathoner.
It would have been cool to test everybody's here to see what everybody
Our heartbeats.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be kind of funny.
But the more endurance exercise you do, usually the lower your resting heart rate is.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But also
That makes
there
sense.
also is like a baseline that you start
Yeah.
from. So I feel like
Or you'll be dead.
yeah, I do a lot of biometric stuff. My heart rate is usually like pretty low.
Where's
What is it?
The lowest I've gotten is 48 when I was like in the marathon days. But usually I think I hover around like 58 to 61. I think. Give
You
or
know,
take.
I love how I could tell you and I were athletes because as soon as he said, we were both like, "What is it? Like, what is it?"
I'll be the judge of
Because we're gonna compete with it. Be like, "What is
gotta
my?
test
Yeah,
mine.
where am I at? I'm pretty sure I'm lower than that." It's like, Jesus.
Dang,
I wanna
that's
know.
interesting. Maybe there's something to do with the actual sound waves themselves that affect us on an atomic level. I don't know.
Well, it's like those sound baths they do at yoga.
Yeah.
It's probably related to that. I don't know if it works, but
Bastardized American yoga. I hate what this fucking country's done to my culture.
yeah.
But here we are.
What if there was some mutation that we had, that early humans had, and like playing music together, like somehow it like brings people together in a way that like strengthens a bond such that they're more likely to survive whatever because
Right.
they're like closer to each other or something like that.
That's
Some, like,
precisely what the AI
oxytocin.
overview says.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
yeah.
There
You and
you
AI,
go.
this is
Just
so fun.
intuitive.
It
Okay,
allowed
yeah, what does it
us
say?
more survival.
It boosted survival by fostering social bonding, coordinating group efforts, hunting and defense.
Well, there
You know, I'm not always right.
I think
But
you
I'm
just
right.
But I'm usually
right.
right.
But I'm always generally.
you just developed an intuition for science at this point. You can probably just say anything and it'll be factually correct.
Yeah, they'll have some basis underneath it at least for sure. That makes
But
sense.
I am fascinated though with the evolutionary arguments for why we are the way that we are because that's something that I think maybe gets lost now because we've developed, especially like over the past few decades, such a fine understanding of social conditioning and how all of these made up social structures like influence us and you know we're taught things as kids and that leads into beliefs that we may not even realize we have. But also, we are animals that evolved for hundreds of millions of years. So there are also like evolutionary explanations for why we are certain ways. And it's interesting to think about what those are.
I actually think a lot of those are what hold us back too. Like
What's
always,
that?
because I put that as an element in my book of like one of the reasons why spreading across the galaxy is so terrifying is because we haven't truly psychologically evolved, and the biggest enemy to that, I think, in the mind is the fight or flight instinct that is in every creature, in us, because we're all having to survive the same environment at least 1 million plus years ago or whatever. So I feel like if that does not go away on a neurological, biological level, not just something you woo-woo science yourself out of, but I mean something like you have kids and it's not there.
Yeah.
Without it, I think we're
Ashley,
screwed.
I 100% agree.
Thank
and
you.
I got to give you your flowers now that I have you in person live. I've read your book from cover to cover. I absolutely love it. It was phenomenal.
Thank you.
I am
Aw.
also extremely inspired. Like one of the
Drop
things
the
that,
name.
yeah, Iron Dreamers is an awesome book. We had a clip
Ashley
about it
Christie.
too.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic book, and you know this has actually been a journey that I'm on as well, like this science communication, the science fiction writer pipeline, and I think for a while I was looking for examples of people that I think are great science communicators that like could also speculate into the future and write fiction.
Yeah, love it.
Sometimes I think I had a little bit of imposter syndrome around like if people trust me as an authority about facts, like now inserting my imagination into this, like is that okay? And like seeing examples like yours give me permission to do that.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
it's not real anyway. So.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
50 pages into mine right now. I'm like
hell
supposed to
yeah.
go on a retreat at the top of the year to start working on it a little bit more. But I was 100% inspired by your book.
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
You're
it's
starting
fantastic.
off at a much better place than most people who want to do sci-fi because you have the science background.
Yes.
So you know where you're allowed to take liberties. I went to this, I was invited Zoom-wise for this WGA, Writers Guild of America table read, which I go to every so often, and I'm always getting invited when it's somebody's sci-fi story. And then like I sometimes criticize the science that they do only if they've taken too many liberties. I think you're allowed to when you've gotten a lot of the science right, and then take your freedoms, like they did in Interstellar. You know, it's like they had a lot of basis, and Kip Thorne, for God's sake. So they knew where they were allowed to take liberties, where people like us wouldn't completely shit on them. And my point is, because you already have that background, you'll know where you need to be accurate, and then from then on, you can just have fun.
Right.
Yeah,
You do
so
have to
trust yourself.
speculate.
Yeah.
The on to Interstellar. One of the biggest science, exoplanet specifically, which is what my PhD is in, exoplanet research.
Oh, wow.
One of the biggest things that makes no sense that most people aren't aware of is you remember everybody has seen it, right?
Oh yeah.
Man's planet, the icy planet.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That planet is like non-physical. It's not physical. They talked about it being there being no surface. Basically that the entire planet was just ice, and you could like bore down and it was just more ice, but there was no surface.
Whoa.
And this was like an Earth size or super Earth planet. It's just like not physical. You couldn't have a planet like that.
What do you mean that ice all the way down? Like it didn't.
It's just
Have
like a
there
big
was
ball of
no
ice.
So they were
No rock.
basically in these ice clouds, right? What they
Yeah.
landed on was actually sort of a cloud. It was not the surface of the planet. And he said that the further that you went down, there was no surface. So the idea there is that this planet is just a planet that's sort of like all ice clouds.
Oh, so no iron, no nickel, no, like they're saying just pure like
Yeah, that there's
ammonia
no
or whatever that planet was.
There's no,
Okay.
that there's no
It's a big
surface.
ball
And
of
so like
water.
yeah.
Oh.
And well, you can have a planet that's a big ball of water, but that's not what that was. It was a big ball of like icy clouds, right? And it's like you could have icy clouds. Like Jupiter probably has huge chunks of ice in its clouds.
But it has a core.
Yeah, but there's
Has
like
all that, yeah.
right, yeah.
And this didn't. Interesting. Do you speculate as to why they went in that direction, where it could have just been like an ice giant or ice?
There's a lot of things that they could have done. Yeah, like a super Earth. They could have
Just
done.
like it was just like a cool idea. You think? So
I
they
think
went in that
that
direction.
it was, from what I understand, because I tweeted about this before on Threads, and the thread actually went viral. And one of the people who worked on the film, one of the VFX people, messaged me back and was like, "Yeah, I was actually on the team that worked on this. Kip Thorne pushed back on this, and like Nolan was like, no, this is how I want to do it." And it was like one of the places where they did completely divorce from scientific grounding.
Yeah, fascinating. And I wonder why too, because it added nothing to the story. It could have just been an ice giant.
Literally.
And it would have been the same thing.
Been the
So I
exact same
wonder
thing.
why. Yeah, I always like to say, because I've heard Kip's lectures on this many times, but he actually thought of the movie 10 years prior to approaching Nolan. Not to say it was that exact concept, but at least maybe the idea of time travel and a black hole. So I'm giving that bro credit for Interstellar more than I am Nolan. I'm just saying.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny
My favorite
about
movie.
what you
It's
mentioned
okay.
of them messaging you? As I feel like that's the game we all play at this level. That whenever you open your mouth, the odds that the source you're talking about reaching out to you or somebody connected is so high. It literally happens to me every week. Every week I'll do something and I'll get a message from that person or that person's friend or that person's whatever, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, so and I'm like, okay, God." I have like a whole inbox of just that's me. I'm like, oh my
Dang.
God.
Our
It's a little
good
stressful.
friend who we met on the TV show who does true crime, that happens to him all the time because he'll cover some
Yeah,
case
that's
in
right.
some
Yeah.
city or state, and his policy is not to engage or respond because this is
yeah.
like
It's like,
heavy.
hey, I killed that person.
Yeah,
Actually, that's
so-
not what happened.
Yeah.
But like, it's like it's
That's-
really sad because it's oftentimes the person's family who like they know there's like a lost cause, but there's some sense of hope they see when you have like a popular true crime person covering your family member's case, and so they just like want some sense of closure, but he won't cross that line. Understandably so, because you don't know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
But that shit's tricky.
Ours is way safer, I think,
Yeah.
our universe. Because then they'll just be like, oh, you spelled my name wrong. And
Yeah.
that's like fine. Then I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
you
my
know,
bad.
whatever.
But like, oh yeah, this person was murdered, and can you
Yeah.
help us? You're like, oh shit, no, I'm just talking about it.
that's way worse.
Dang, yeah.
Yikes.
Speaking of this universe, what is a sci-fi universe that y'all would go into?
The
You could go
Expanse.
there
It's a good one.
permanently. You're
I
stuck
think
there.
that I
though.
think the universe sucks.
Well, you didn't
Fuck
ask
that.
me where in that world I'd
Okay,
be.
fair
I'm just
enough.
going with.
Wait, why does it suck?
I just like it's so in
The Belters have a terrible life.
yeah,
Belters, yeah.
and the chances you'd end up there is probably pretty
Higher,
high
yeah.
because like the nobility.
I want to be with what is her
would
name?
be.
Avasarala. Is that her? Yes.
I don't remember too much.
She
to be
love her
honest.
voice. I want an
Oh,
audiobook
the
of
deep
just
voice?
yes.
Yeah.
I think she's Iranian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just want a
She's
book
awesome.
of her talking. And I'm like, she sounds like a smoker, but for some reason,
So
I dig.
why
It's
would you want to go
sexy.
to live in the Expanse universe?
Because at least they have some semblance of space travel, and well, it depends on how
Well,
far
there are
you
other
get.
universes that have mastered completely.
Yeah, I would say
space
Star
Well,
Wars is probably where I'd
'cause
go.
Star Wars, Star Trek.
Go to Naboo. It's pretty.
No, because they have like empires, and I guess the Expanse
The
does.
Foundation?
So
But the
Star
Expanse is like right at the beginning of that interstellar travel. Because I don't want. Well, I can't ruin it. I guess the show's been out for a while, but like the wormhole or whatever, the ring that they create. then you can go anywhere in the universe.
Wait,
Like, I don't
where?
know, that show takes place at a good spot where it's just starting. And I'm like, that would be a cool time period to be in that universe.
Nah,
Right
girl,
at the
go
beginning?
further. Go where all that shit's already been figured out, and you can just like traverse
Because then
the
there's an
galaxy.
empire.
But Naboo specifically.
But Naboo is pretty. It's a pretty
Oh.
planet. It's
Naboo.
It
peaceful.
seems peaceful, but like I feel like they crash out in Naboo sometimes, right?
What do you
They
mean?
probably do.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
they'd
there's
have
been
their
wars and
they
stuff
have
there.
their shit.
Oh.
But you know, I could be a queen,
Oh,
I
like
mean, there is
senator
that.
slash queen.
They only
queen
have
and then
12-year-olds as
senator.
queen on Naboo. Have you read the books? Yeah, so in the movie,
No.
yeah,
I've
in the
not read
movie,
books.
she's like 16, I think, or something. But in the book, she was 12 when she became queen. So she was actually much closer to Anakin's age in the books than she was. And when I say in the
film.
books, I mean the ones that get approved to be written after the movies
Yeah,
come
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I think this is a good time to collectively sling mud at Dakota because he's not watched Star Wars.
Oh, that's
bro.
right. We
Shame.
talked about that.
Whoa.
Shame. Shame.
Why did you feel
Shame.
that it was necessary to take a moment out?
I just felt like it felt like the right time.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like we're talking about like Naboo and he's just sitting there like very quietly. I'm like, because
like-
you don't
he's
know.
like- He's what the fuck is
exactly.
that?
I was like,
Is
he
that an
he's never this
alien?
quiet unless he doesn't know.
How can you be a science nerd and never see like the core
Well,
At
sci-fi
least just
universe?
sit through it. Even
There-
if you don't enjoy it, just
There's
sit
an
through it.
explanation. There's two.
They better be good.
The first one is that I didn't become a science nerd until much later in life, until I was like 23, 24, or whatever. So I think I missed the window when a lot of times people get into that stuff.
How long ago was that? You've got time.
Like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Or such.
Damn, but then you just accelerated through it.
And then I
You got
like
a PhD.
almost tried to watch and I was like, this is ass.
Which one? Which one?
This is like, it's in the future. The graphics suck.
I'm talking about
But which
the Disney
episode?
Star Wars.
It doesn't, whatever one looks like it was shot in the 70s.
The
Oh, the
original
OGs,
three,
4 through 6.
because then they
ass.
did the prequels, and now the sequels are
It
pretty
didn't
bad,
look good
but-
enough to capture
Because it was
my-
the 70s or the 80s, depending on which one you watch.
Well, you know, a movie that I saw that was made in the 60s, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I hate that movie. Sorry, I do.
Ooh, fight, guys,
I
fight.
do. I
We're gonna
hate
sit
that
back,
movie.
fight.
It's so boring.
Oh, what? Every
I need lightsabers,
sci-fi
dude.
that has ever been made since then has been influenced by it, I would argue, in some way. Maybe not every, but most.
Well, I mean, you could argue that every book's been influenced by Shakespeare. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. You know?
Shakespeare was also ass.
I know. I actually, you know,
Fight.
I actually don't like it either.
I
'Cause
don't mind it.
it's-
I
I
respect
watched
it.
Macbeth, the new one with Denzel
Oh, it's
Washington.
Denzel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea what
What's
anybody
going-
said
No,
the entire.
that's-
It's like
Have
watching
did
another
y'all watch
language.
it? Yeah, it was written. It was like
Yeah.
in Old English.
Yeah. Oh,
The,
yeah,
the
for
point
sure.
is because you're supposed to be such a good actor that you don't need to know what they're saying, that you get the feel of it.
Well, I got the
That's
vibe,
kinda-
but I don't know what was
Oh
being
yeah.
said.
No,
Well,
I
we
have
don't talk
friends,
like that anymore.
friends in the theater world who study Shakespeare extensively, and good for them. I mean, I respect it. It's not my cup of tea, but yeah, you know, I'm a bit more into fantasy than I am sci-fi. I know every fucking thing about a Song of Ice and Fire,
What if-
aka Game of Thrones, more than I do Star Wars, Star
Oh,
Trek, or
that's
anything
so
like
good.
that. So
Game of
that world I
Thrones?
can get into.
What about
Deeply.
the, not to go too fantasy, but I know everybody loves Akatar or whatever, the Court of, oh my God, this is so, I'm a
What
female,
is
I'm
she
supposed to know what this is. It's like one of the biggest fantasy series of all time. Like if you go on the top floor at Barnes & Noble at the Grove, they had like a whole thing just for this girl's books.
Harry Potter.
Avatar.
No.
What are you saying?
What are you
Everybody
saying?
online just says ACOTAR because the title's so long. I think it's a Court of Thrones and Roses or something
What is
like
I
that.
have no
Yeah.
idea, girl. I'm too old
Oh,
for this.
that's what. Yeah, it's
I
very.
guess. Must be very Gen Z.
Okay, so you haven't read that one.
No.
Yeah, look it up.
I'm
It's-
mainstream.
They're gonna make a series on it soon. It's gonna
I'm
be in
sure.
all of our faces soon enough. But
I'm
yeah, on the
sure.
top floor at the Grove at Barnes and Noble,
Ah.
there was like a whole like
Yeah.
full blown. Yes,
Sarah
that's what it
J.
is.
Maas.
Yes.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay, I was kind of right. I tried reading the
you
first
were
book and I
right.
was like,
Roses.
I can't get through this.
Is
I
it
don't.
kind of like a romancy thing though? Because there was
Yeah.
something like that
Sounds
was
like
trending.
Yeah, hardcore. It is
Yeah.
smut.
Okay, so
Not
then-
like adult
Oh,
smut,
shit.
but it's teen
Oh,
smut.
but then set in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my
Yeah.
cup of tea. I want
Yeah,
like hard,
okay.
hard fantasy.
Are you all into the
Okay.
smut stuff too?
Two.
Like in addition to the fantasy stuff
I've
or
never
sci-fi?
gotten into
You
it.
know,
I've never tried.
What was funny when I was writing my book, I was told to stay away from teen sci-fi because it doesn't normally perform well. Like Ender's Game was like one of the few that actually does well. Either adult sci-fi or they were like adult or teen like smut. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could sit there and write that. But I
like,
felt
no
really
problem.
weird. Like, I mean, you read my first book. I stayed away from it. I will have to bring it in at some point, at least a little bit, but I'll probably do it in the Harry Potter format where it's only like a little touch of it.
Yeah.
But
You
it's...
stayed away from it a lot.
I did, yeah. Well, because here's the thing
Justin
that...
was looking for it. You can tell.
Yeah.
Well, there were a lot of moments where I was like, oh, that could have been sexualized.
It could have been, yeah. The reason I did that, there was a very specific reason, because it's a survival. She's on survival mode for that whole first book. And I've done like search and rescue training. I've, as a teenager, been thrown in these horrible environments where, like, if you mess up, there's going to be a huge price for this. And I can tell you from personal experience, when teenagers are in life or death situations, they are not thinking about that stuff. Every adult likes to think they would, but then you're an adult who's never been in that situation. So I know from personal experience, like, it will cross her mind, but nobody's going to act on it because it's like, I just got to get out of here and survive this situation.
I'm not thinking about sex.
Yeah,
when
so
I'm
when
trying to survive.
When I read books where it's like, we need to fight this battle, and like, oh no, there's one bed and two of us, and like I'm telling you, if you think you got to make it to the next day, you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Hunger Games, because it was realistic. Yeah, the kids are just going to try to get through.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
even
Well, I would actually argue the opposite. I would say that for most of human history, we were in a perpetual state of survival,
Therefore,
and people
we
must have been
died.
having sex all the time, just based on the
I
fact
don't
that
know.
we're alive.
I wonder.
I don't know. I mean, I was.
I mean,
there.
I guess I guess you
Wasn't
could
there.
argue that it's like a form of stress relief in a tense situation.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But in the books, it's always like a romantic thing, right?
Yeah.
There's that. It's not like a release. It's a romantic.
It was
Yeah.
a building up to this.
And
Yeah.
that to me makes no sense. Like your head. That's why I love Katniss's character, because she's like, "What? Can you focus?" She's like that's the way she is with everybody. Like, can you focus so we can live?
Yeah,
And I'm like, that is
fascinating.
the way you behave.
Okay, so this fantasy Akatar stuff,
I
because
hope we're
obviously
saying
I
it
say
right.
that, Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire had a lot of sex. It does even in the books with like underage people, but that's not like the
It's not smut.
focus. You know what I mean? Akatar
Yeah.
sounds a bit more like it's a
It's smut.
romance in fantasy.
You guys know the term smut, right? Like, I'm not just saying.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a difference
Yeah.
between like a rated R sex heavy book like Game of Thrones versus something that's fantasy sexual fantasy.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
literary porno with a loose plot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. 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 yes.
Yeah.
So it's like an easy read that way.
Yeah, and that's what they were trying to get me to do, but with sci-fi elements. I'm like, I just feel really
Tentacle
weird.
porn.
Is
I just
that a
pictured this weird,
lightsaber,
like,
or are you just
alien.
happy to see me?
Just get one line in there.
I think more of like a microgravity sex scene. Like, I think that was kind of like the idea of like, oh, that would be. Can you write that? I'm like, probably. Like, I could probably accurately write that.
Yeah.
But why would I? I don't know.
Can you tell us the premise of your book? Do you want to yet? You don't
Yeah,
have
we
to.
actually had an episode. Excuse me. We had an episode where we talked about it. So this is the current premise of the book. It occurs far, 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 far into the future, probably billions of years before the eventual heat death of the universe. So,
that far. Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
yeah, long,
Many
long time.
billions of years before that, I think.
Yeah, we kind of gone back and forth on it. He's kind of been my science consultant
yeah.
by proxy, and so yeah, like the idea is that this is a super advanced alien civilization, and they're kind of lonely, and there's like one member of the species that's been living for hundreds of thousands of years, extremely advanced, kind of by our definitions would be kind of considered godlike, encounters this game that was made by a pre-existing advanced species called the universe game, where you build a universe with the purpose. The game has a built universe with the purpose of creating an intelligent civilization that is capable of being a colleague, a peer, or a friend, right? To this like super, super advanced species, right? And so the first species in the game is like this failed alien species, happens like 6 billion years after the Big Bang of that universe. And then 6 billion years later, give or take, humanity is the next trial of intelligent species that is supposed to be ushered into this like peerhood. And so there's these rules of the game that will probably be like a lot to explain right now, but the character is like a player and can play, like different characters and steer humanity towards this path of being like super intelligent and friendly. But then there's other actors, there's other players in the game that have other interests, and then there's this creator that they believe is extinct but may still be alive. So it's like a kind of complicated universe.
I love that.
No, that's cool.
Is
but-
this like a simulation or a universe inside of a universe?
So
What's
it's
the difference?
Rick
yeah.
and Morty.
I know.
Philosophically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it would be a very, very advanced simulation,
I
but
guess, if the matter actually exists.
the matter would actually
Well,
exist.
Oh God,
so,
yeah, that's tough.
So yeah, which is why it happens so far in the future. The civilization is so advanced, and basically it would be our universe is the simulated universe, and so basically
I'm
what
about that.
yeah, so basically like what we think is real is just this game to this like protagonist, and the other players that may be taking on
I love
antagonistic
that.
roles.
Yeah.
I think about that stuff all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
what
sure
if
you
God
do.
is just like, yeah,
A player in the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, so
The
I,
chances are higher on that being true than
You think?
an omnipotent. Yeah. The more I read about simulation hypothesis, the more I believe it just statistically. It makes sense.
Ooh,
Really?
that's interesting.
Whoever
That's
coded
alright.
this
I
up,
love
I think,
it.
did a shit job.
Whoever
Well, I
what?
think
Coded this one up.
Oh
mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I
what
think
would
they're
you-
like figuring it out.
what do
It's
you
like a
mean? Like, what's-
teenager.
I just feel like I would have did better.
I mean, I think if we look at
Damn.
if we look at
Great.
ancient civilizations and what they defined their gods to be like, it could be one of these players in a simulation. Like that seems like a really easy thing for them to do. They don't even have to be like fully omniscient and omnipresent.
Yeah, right.
They would just have to control certain attributes of that
be
universe.
ahead of us.
And
Yeah.
and be so advanced compared to us that we're like, whoa, that's godlike.
So was it like one of the characters that like patched something and was able to walk on water 2,000 years ago?
Ooh,
Yes.
The
Is
glitch.
this
Oh,
like
yeah.
a character maybe? Or maybe it was like every mythology stems from somebody who did something like that.
Like a jailbroken
Yeah.
organism in the
That's
universe.
funny. They jailbroke. Yeah.
I feel like the more we learn, the more we have existential crises.
Yeah.
You think
I
so?
know it's amazing.
Because you think about what else is out there and you're like, oh, that might be possible. Like I had a conversation recently with somebody who she was absolutely convinced that AI could never be like the human mind, like couldn't be creative. I'm like, well, define creativity to me. Right. And she was like, well, that an idea comes to you and you can paint and it's not from any previous form of painting. I'm like, but everything you paint is from something you've seen at some point in your life.
Yeah.
So like, and then it was, well, what's consciousness? I'm like, define consciousness, and as she was doing that, I was countering it with what technology could technically mimic at least. And it's like, yeah, where is that line? And so I could see her kind of have like a little bit of a crisis.
Like, oh shit.
Where as she was learning more about AI or technology, she was like, oh God, wait, like what is the difference? And I do
Yeah.
think as we learn more, it gets scarier.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
know if
less,
I
I
feel
guess,
that.
less centralized, right? Like we just keep realizing that we are not the center of anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
More and more that we, learn, more and more we kind of like decenter ourselves from like being super important. But then we're able to just define our own purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
importance.
Maybe it helps. It takes the pressure off. Being a bit nihilistic, I don't think is a bad thing. Ultimately, doesn't matter in the end anyway. Then great.
None of it matters. So
Yeah.
let's go streaking.
We're made of matter, but we don't matter. I think I have that on a shirt somewhere.
That's
I love
fire.
that.
That's
I
fire.
made it.
That's super cool.
Well, we should probably inch towards wrapping this up.
Taking a break?
Yeah.
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 Take
Sounds
a break
good.
for the next one.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
idea.
Well, thank you all so much for joining. And as always, everybody.
This has been a special collab between
Yes.
Curiosity Theory and
Science in the city.
Yeah.
Stay curious and stay
In the
in
city.
the city. Stay curious and stay in the city.
That's right.
Peace.